devotees for joining today. It's a very auspicious days of or week of the appearance of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. It's our very great good fortune that we all can discuss the pastimes, the importance, the principles, the tattva of all the spirituality, the science of Krishna consciousness, how one can attain and comes to that path of spirituality. What are the processes, sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana. So we'll cover those today, and then we'll go over the summarizing the 10 offenses against the holy name, so that we can situate in that steady, that very nishta, the steady state of mind. So it's very important that to understand what are the tools and the techniques that one can situate in that very steady state all the time. Because we know that the human mind is very mysterious, very difficult. So the moment we uncontrolled mind, which can take us to any depth of this misery, but also at the same time, this human mind can take us back to Krishna. It's very important that how we utilize, how we control, how we use our mind in proper context and proper way. It's very, very important. So what helps to that? So we'll cover this today, today's topic, today's class, so that we will understand a little bit more about the process. Mainly we'll focus on the process today. So there is a sambandha, there is abhideya and prayojana. Okay. So let me share the let me share the topic which I am going to cover today based on the SImhesvara and Srila Prabhupada's comments. And let me also get to the it's also there in the recording. Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhiraye. Dashtabrayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavada sevaya bhagavadi uttama sloge bhaktir bhavadi naishtigim. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining this satsang. It's very important in one's life to have the satsang. It purifies. One who speaks, one who hears, and one who asks the question, all are purified in their heart. So we were going through this topic of offenses against the holy name. So one may ask why one is executing or one is doing these offenses against the holy name. If we can say, dear devotees, is because of our ignorance. Ignorance causes so many other things. Ignorance is the root cause of all our suffering, all our distress, all our problems. This is the root cause is actually our ignorance. So ignorance leads to so many other things. We are suffering in this world because of ignorance. We are in the darkness because of the ignorance. We are incurring the sin is because of our ignorance. We're going through the suffering life after life is because of our ignorance. So ignorance leads to everything. Certain habits we develop, that is called karma vasana. That is because of our ignorance. So it leads to so many things. So one, it leads to the mode of passion. This comes from ignorance. It leads to mode of ignorance. It's come from the ignorance. So many ways we can say that this tamoguna or the ignorance is the root cause of all our suffering. So it's very important that there is a question why one is, uh, you know, offending the holy name, even though he understands that this is the pure and the sacred, as himself, as he says that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nama Prabhu or Nama Purush. Nama Purush is Krishna himself. The Nama Purush even more merciful than even Krishna, because of whoever, it's very important to hear, whoever takes this holy name, Nama Prabhu is having a personal association with that chanter. It's very important to understand this. Whoever chants the name of Krishna, he has the personal association of Krishna. So why? Because of Nama Prabhu is more merciful than the Krishna himself. So here, all the processes happening at the same time. Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. The moment we take the holy name, one establish a relationship with the Supreme Lord. When one who chants the holy name, that's the process to attain that Krishna. And then it's also the means and the goals and the ways all are same. Always listen this very carefully. So all are very same. The process, the relationship, how do one makes that relationship? Chanting the holy name. And what is that process? Chanting the holy name. And what we get the, again, chanting the more holy name. That means we come to this all stages of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. And also it's come from that we develop the Shraddha, the faith. And then we also encouraged, we also are enthused to associate with the devotees. And then when we associate with the devotees more and more, we engage in the chanting. Then naturally that anartha nivritti, our impurities goes away. Then we come to that steady, the nishtha, the stage of it. So see that? Why? Because of Nama Prabhu, Nama Purush is so merciful just by this process. So one can completely, wholeheartedly, one can take the holy name. That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had such an emphasis. Took that, came down, descended on this world to establish this process of Yuga Dharma, of chanting of the holy name. So one can attain Krishna Prema. Golokera Prema Dhana, Harinama Sankirtana. The Prema Dhana is considered as Prema Dhana. Dhana means treasure. Harinam is a treasure. Harinam is a source of treasure. Harinam is an ocean of treasure. Prema Dhana Harinamera, Prema Gologera, Prema Dhana. It's a treasure. Prema, what is that treasure? Prema, the love of Godhead. The devotees, the love of Godhead which one can develop by chanting of the holy name is immeasurable. It's unlimited. It's infinite. One cannot even express that, the love, which an ecstasy one can develop by this process. That's why Srila Haridas Thakur standing for almost 22 hours a day. So Raghunath Das Thakur, Raghunath Das Goswami, chanting 64 rounds and more rounds, more and more rounds, minimum 64 rounds, Raghunath Das Goswami chants every day. And by that ecstasy, Raghunath Das Goswami was going through and seeing even whoever chants the holy name, whoever even chants once, utter once, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami paying the obeisances to all such devotees. Whoever comes to the Vrindavan and taking this and service, not only that, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami was, praying that and giving the dandavat of, prostrated of, obeisances unto such devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, all these wonderful devotees. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even melted by the by the pure heart and the pure holy name chanted by Haridas Thakur. That's why even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested to speak on the glories of, the holy name. So it's ocean of mercy. This holy name is an ocean of mercy because of it's so powerful, but we don't understand. We don't have value for this holy name. We don't understand. The devotees, it's so powerful. So Srila Haridas Thakur was in the Harinam Chintamani, he was mentioning this, 10 offenses against the holy name to Srila, Sri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada took and very seriously and quoted in many, many purports about the importance of avoiding the, offenses against the holy name. So it's very important that we understand this fact. So what it is, it says that there are 10 offenses in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. A pure devotee of the Lord does not commit any offense while chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. A pure devotee. So this is where some people ask, who is the devotee? Who is the pure devotee? Who is a Vaishnava? I always ask this question. So first symptom, one of the symptoms of a pure devotee is that he does not make any offenses chanting the holy name. So Srila Prabhupada says that there are 10 different offenses in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. To chant the holy name under the direction of a pure devotee is offenseless chanting. So Srila Prabhupada also guiding us, and this is the process. It focuses more on the process that how we can chant. So it's always better to have a direction from a senior devotee or a pure devotee of the Lord, spiritual master, gurus, so that also that when a guru instructs a devotee instructs to another person to chant the holy name, they are also investing their mercy upon that, devotee or that person who is going to chant. Why? Because of it is our desire. It is the pure devotee's desire that everybody else chant the holy name. This is also one of the symptoms of a pure devotee. The pure devotee is very compassionate. He is paradukha dukhi. He always sees that, everybody else is actually that those who are suffering in this world. And he thinks that I am the most fallen. But everybody else is a pure devotee of the Lord. At the same time, as pure devotee as when those who sees suffering in this material world, that he is paradukha dukhi, so that he instructs, he gives this holy name to other living entities, so that they all can attain, they all can get sukriti, they all can get this mercy. This sometimes people ask where this sukriti come from. What is this? This sukriti is nothing but a mercy. What is that mercy? The potency that devotee or the Lord showers to that person. So then they can pick it up. They can somehow, or it breaks the barriers of the heart. It cleans a little bit of the heart so that it can sit, Nama Purusha can sit on the heart. So that somehow or other they start to chant this holy name. So Srila Prabhupada says that the pure devotee under the guidance of a pure devotee. So offenseless chanting of the holy name of the Lord is transcendental. See that? It's transcendental. It's very pure. It's very pure. Offenseless. So we saw that the 10 offenses against the holy name, right? The first and the foremost is actually the blasphemy, the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the Krishna consciousness, blasphemy. So we know that some or other, sometimes it comes out from our mouth. Why? Because of we are not focused. We are not into that pure platform. When one is in the pure stage and the pure platform, then only he is conscious of all these things. Then when he comes to that pure state of consciousness, that's what is Krishna conscious. That means such devotees are more attached to Krishna and less attached to this material world. When a person is more attached to this material world, this consciousness is impure. When the consciousness is impure, all these dirty things comes up. Ego comes up first, that we know that everything comes from our false ego. So we say that I am superior than this person. I'm so good than this person. So I can say anything I want. I'm very better qualified than this person so that I can say anything I would like to say. I am so, good in all those things. I am that, I am this. Where does come from? Our false ego. When there is a false ego prominent, when the false ego is very prominent, then we don't see anything else. We do see always ours. When we do see ours always, then whatever is come from ours is always giving an offenses. Our talk will be offenses. Our activity is offenses. We don't give proper respect to the devotees. We'll say, who is that person? We don't even give respect to the scriptures and the Vedas. We don't give respect to any of the people in the world. We always put ourselves in the middle of it. So this all what? This all can incur sins, and we accumulate so many sins in our life. That's why as soon as we pass this body, we transform into the another very lowest form of the life so that we can continue these kinds of consciousness over there. So it's very important that the holy name is transcendental, when it's chanted very purely. So it's very important that we understand these 10 offenses and try to avoid as maximum as possible. And where is come from? The purity comes from the purity is the force. As Srila Prabhupada says that purity is the force. So when we try to endeavor for purity, then what happens? It gives us such a strength and the force that we take up more and more and situate in such a way that we pray to the Lord, we pray to the Supreme that please engage in your service in such a state. So that's where we come to that stage of steadiness. When we are in the steadiness, that means that's where we really connect to Krishna. Our consciousness is now connected to Krishna. Our words are now connected to Krishna. Our activities are in relationship with the Krishna. Our everything, our attitude is now in context of Krishna. Our food, our eating habit is in relationship with Krishna. Our sleeping habit, our day-to-day habits are in relationship with Krishna. My Guru Maharaj always says this. It affects our chanting. It affects our chanting depends on our daily routine, daily activities. Our daily activities affects our chanting. So when we are so much away from this, we are having this material consciousness all the time. Oh, I can go here, I can enjoy here, I can do this, me, myself, this affects our chanting. So the best way to avoid all these things, less attachment to this material consciousness and more attachment to Krishna. So we have to have this consciousness. The Supreme Lord is everything. He is the cause of all the cause. Everything comes from him. And only one thing in this world, in this entire world is real, is Krishna. Everything else is temporary and imaginary. Everything else is temporary and imaginary. Okay, so only one thing in this world is real is Krishna and Krishna's paraphernalia or spirituality is the only real thing, because everything else is a material manifestation, temporarily or imaginary or illusionary, or we can say that it's just for some time. It's not permanent. Maybe we may say that, we wouldn't realize, maybe we may say 60, 70, 80 years, we go for it. But what happens eventually? Then we transforms to another. It's not permanent. It's very temporary in nature. So it's very important that we come to that stage of steadiness. Where this steadiness comes, that means always we are Krishna conscious. We connect ourselves with the Krishna. We are in union with the Krishna. That's called yoga. That's why Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga all comes into the same line. When we are in relations, in connection with the Krishna, every day we should have. When we speak something, are we speaking unnecessarily or offending against all these holy names, or doing our activities against the holy name? So we should be more cautious and very much conscious of all this. Then we can very steadily situate in Krishna. So that way, then we can completely, at the time of death, that we can completely enter into the abode of Krishna. So the pure stage is up to that stage of Nishtha. That's where we come to that. Even Anartha Nivritti, once the Anartha Nivritti is gone, then is actually we are come to the stage of pure. Somebody asked this question, when we come to the pure stages of holy name. Where? When it comes to the Nishta, very steadiness. That means Nishta means we are always in relationship with it. That means Srila Rupa Goswami says there are the two thumb rules, right? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So this is the principle. So this is where when we come to Nishta, the stage of Nishta, then one never forgets Krishna, always remember Krishna. So we have to come to that stage. When one comes to that stage of Nishta, this is a steadiness. That means he's in a pure stage of consciousness, pure state. So this is the process. So then Srila Prabhupada writes that one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. Such offenses are mentioned in the Padma Puranas are a being in 10 number. So Srila Prabhupada very clearly revealing this. One cannot protect himself if he commits an offense at the lotus feet of the holy name of the Lord. Holy name of the Lord. So Nama Purush or Nama Trup, Nama Prabhu is a personification. And in spiritual world, everything has a personification. The trees has personification. Everything is spiritual. And Angani Asya Sagalendriya Vridimandi. Each Anga is full of potency and full of knowledge and full of bliss. This is the spiritual realm. This is the spiritual identity of each and every one of who is in the spiritual abode, spiritual realm. Everything has consciousness. Everything has full of potency. Everything has full of knowledge. Even a tree, even a creeper, even a grass, even a cow, even the mountain. So it says that when Krishna comes in according to their dress, immediately the trees and the flowers, all these vines, and they all immediately change the color. They are waiting for it. And they know that what is Krishna is. So in order to give more happiness and pleasure, these devotees, those who are in the abode of the Goloka Vrindavan, in the spiritual plane, they immediately have that to give pleasure, more pleasure to Krishna. They change their color so that it matches with the Krishna. When Krishna walks into the spiritual abode in the Goloka Vrindavan, all these leaves and these beautiful flowers shed their petals. They fills with petals on the, and they say, bring Krishna, please touch me, please touch me, please touch me. That these are all devotees. They are full of conscious. They are full of conscious. And they wanted to have even a touch of Krishna, even though they are in spiritual, because of this is the relationship between Krishna and his devotees in the spiritual realm, that they don't have anything other than Krishna. They don't have anything else other than Krishna. They always think of Krishna, how they can please Krishna. And what Krishna thinks? Krishna gives the reciprocate, that Krishna thinks that how can I make that devotee more pleasurable? Krishna manifests millions of forms, not only that, just one form in Krishna. Krishna replicate, and like Rasa Leela, we know that this is just an example of it. Just to fulfill the desires of each and every devotee, Krishna, himself manifests in millions of forms, and he will personally associate with each and every devotee. So dear devotees, this is also another example that we develop this. Krishna personally associates with each and every devotee who takes this holy name. Krishna personally associates. So when Krishna comes, then we say, oh, Krishna, no, I don't have time now. Even Krishna comes like that, we invite some guest in our home. Then what happens? The guests come and then we go away somewhere. Okay, I have something else to do. How offenses is actually. But Krishna is not, don't take much of the offenses. Anybody says that if anybody commits an offenses against Krishna, Krishna will forgive. He doesn't take it very seriously. But if one commits an offenses against the holy name, then it's very difficult, because he's so merciful, the Nama Prabhu. And even though he is so merciful and coming directly to that devotee, that person who is chanting, and he's again commit a mistake, commit an offense against this holy name, it says that there is no such atonement unless take the shelter of that the devotees unless take the shelter of the holy name again and pray to Nama Prabhu that please relieve me from all these offenses. Otherwise, we will not be able to come out of this offense. It says that one who commits an offense against the holy name, even Krishna cannot even, you know, take him out from that offense. So Sasis mentioned that. What is that offense like? 10 offenses like blasphemy the devotees and all those things, right? Disobey the orders of the spiritual master, even attachment, material attachment, inattentive chanting, and Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma as equal as, Krishna, and then daunting that and considering independent as Krishna. And then Vedic version of, Vedic scriptures is just an ordinary text. Then there are so many ways we come to this, this understanding or come to this kind of offenses. Then, but we have to really come to this understanding that the holy name can eradicate everything. So, Srila Prabhupada writes is one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense against the holy name. One cannot protect himself. So, it's very dangerous. It's as is mentioned that the devotional service is not so easy. It's considered as one is walking over the edge of a razor. So we can bleed. So we should be very careful. But on the other hand, one who comes out, who came to that nishta, the stage of nishta, the steadiness, then what happens? We overcome all this. Then he will not like, when you churn the yogurt. Initially, what happens when you churn on yogurt? So initially, little bit, the ghee comes, right? Butter comes. And then, little, kind of, there are, like little bubbles comes up, and then you churn again and then again, and little impurities comes initially, and then you butter, you take it out. Then again, what happens when you butter, you then warm it, right? Then you make a pure ghee out of it. Now there is no impurities. Now this devotee cannot, or now this butter cannot go back to as a yogurt. Butter cannot go back to, the ghee cannot go back as a, the yogurt or a milk or anything like that. It's now in the pure state. The devotees, we are also like that. We have this gross body, right? Then we have subtle body that's called Sushma Sharir. The Stula Sharir and the Sushma Sharir. The Sushma Sharir carries everything that what we do. Whatever we speak, whatever the consciousness, everything is actually comes out from our Sushma Sharir. That's why there are 3 Shariras, each living entity, they goes through. That means also, there is also a spiritual body. So Stula Sharira is actually the manifestation of our Samam Bonam of our what is our Stula Sharira, sorry, Sushma Sharira. Whatever the results of our Sushma Sharira is the Stula Sharira, or call it as our gross body. How our thinking, how our consciousness is based upon. So we know that so many wonderful people, right? Wonderful people in this world, their consciousness, everything is very pure. So naturally what happens, they also reflect in their body. We know that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada walks, his effulgence comes out from their body. Effulgence comes out from their face. One time, one devotee was recollecting this. One devotee, so Srila Prabhupada arrived at the airport, and Srila Prabhupada just came. That those days, olden days, people even could go and receive the guests from near to the plane. And then Srila Prabhupada came out from the plane, and the devotees were, and this one person was working in the airport. And he saw everybody is falling, and this Srila Prabhupada was glowing like anything. The effulgence comes out, and he was mentioning this, and I could see that the effulgence and the glow comes out from it. So this is what it is. So when what our consciousness, what our subtle body is, that's what it is, our gross body. Somebody is very sad, we can see that on their face. Somebody is happy, we can see there on the face. Somebody is in distress, we can see in their face. When one is distressing, somebody is too much attached to. So they're so much in anxiety, we can see that. Where is come from? This all actually accumulates in their Sushma Sharir. In their subtle body, everything is there. That's why it's all coming out in the form of some people, sometimes they are in so much distrust. They cannot do anything. They're stunned. They are completely lost. Sometimes people cannot even speak. Where is that? This explosion of that, the Sushma Sharira that they cannot tolerate and they cannot control, they cannot handle situations. In this time, they cannot do anything else. So this is Sushma Sharira is very, so samam bottom of our, so whatever is there in our Sushma Sharira is that the result is our gross body, the Stula Sharira. So the spiritual body or our Atmiya Sharira or Atma, that spiritual body is away from all this. So when a person is so much in happiness, it says that then equally he has to go for that much distress. So it's called Samachitta, the one who is come out from all this. Even if has happiness, and if he is not too much attached to that happiness, even if there is a distress, he is not so much affected with that distress because he understands that this is all the nature of this world. One has to go through, as Krishna says that, Matra Sparshastu Kaundeya, Shidoshna Sugha Dukkada Agama Bayino Anityastam Sidaksha Bharata. Oh Arjuna, Matra Sparshastu. It's like a matra. Matra means it's very tiny, little. Matra, it's very tiny, little. Sparsha. You know that how it is sparsha? Sparsha means touches. Touchness. So one is touches with that little tiny. That's what it is. All this happiness we are thinking in this world. But a self-realized person or one who is in samachittada or that equipoised means he knows what is happiness. He also knows that what is distress. In that situation, he's not overly attached to the happiness. We are not overly affected by this distress also he goes through. He knows that this is the nature. So then he situates in that he controls his mind, he controls his senses, he controls his body. When the person controls his body, mind, and the senses, then he is actually come to the stage of nishtha or steadiness. We can call it as he's a samachitta. Chitta means heart. Samachitta means he is equal to both conditions. So as Krishna says that Mastras Parshatagam, see the Ushna Sugha Dukkada. When there is this called dualities of this world, duplicities of this world, dualities of this world. So we call duality. So we are going, material nature has this nature of duality. We have to go through, no matter what. If you are so much in happiness, remember that one day the distress and misery is going to come. One day is misery and distress. Oh, there is one day there is also happiness. It is, Krishna says, Agama Abhayino Anitya. His comes and go like a summer and winter, which is called Anitya. Anitya means it's temporary, it's not permanent. Nitya means eternal, permanent, but this Anitya means it which is temporary. But we are so much entangled with this temporary and so much some people are so attached to this material, this worldly happiness, trying to get even more and more and more. So they are not samachitta. They are not steady. So when they are not in that samachitta, we cannot reach to the spirit soul. We cannot come to that, our spiritual body. Unless and until we come to our spiritual nature, then we cannot taste all this. That's why unless and until we come to the steadiness, we cannot get the ruchi or the taste of the holy name, the taste of engaging in the loving devotional service. When one has the taste, then he would engage more and more and more. We always mention this, but His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. Initially, when Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was completed the graduation from the Princeton University, and also a professor over there in Princeton University, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. But Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj completely surrendered to the holy name and Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada instructed, go and distribute books in the different parts of the world. That time, book distribution was very much prominent, and everybody took the words of Srila Prabhupada so nicely, and so that everybody get this opportunity of how one can come to this pure Krishna consciousness. So then Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj took this instruction of Srila Prabhupada and to distribute books in Russia. Those time it was communist who was ruling, and no religious activities are allowed. But somehow or other, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, assigned this. Who will take this? And who will take up this when if something is there? Only that such pure devotees such have developed a taste for the devotional service. Bhaktitirtha Maharaj was traveling from one end to another and just get into a train, take a ticket and get into the train. Wherever the train goes there, and then talking very, sincerely to the people that, take up this holy name, take up this chanting of the holy name, take these books, like that. And what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj doing? Even when Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj wanted to chant the holy name, so no matter what, whatever the service doing, never breaks that the vow of chanting the holy name, goes to the toilet, sit there and chant the holy name. We can imagine that. And then never, this was never began the same time distribute the books, and going to the one end to the another end and coming back to the same train in one end to the other end. It was going for many and distributing more books than anybody else. So Srila Prabhupada got this report that His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was distributing more books. Srila Prabhupada personally wrote a letter to His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada said, "You are exemplified. You are exemplified. You are the epitome. You show that what is the pure devotion." So where it's come from? That taste, that ruchi, that reach to the spiritual plane, reach to that spiritual realization, that science of that Atma Sakshatkar. This is called Atma Sakshatkar. Came to that, came to that steadiness, came to that spiritual platform, came to that spiritual, realization. Now, less significant, everything else is less significant. This body, my thoughts, okay, I can get this, I can enjoy this one. If I go this one, I accumulate this one. If I have more house, big rooms, big cars, beautiful, luxury cars, if I have, I can enjoy more and more. I can talk to the people. I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. And it says that Acharya says that by thinking like this, oh, if I have my children get married, I get, so I can see their beautiful little children's, walk and, their activities. So I get some kind of pleasure so that I will be happy in this world. So this is the material thoughts. Then such we cannot come out of it. So entangle and entangle and entangle. Rather than when we come to that stage of spiritual identity, that's Atma Sakshatkar. So then we will see that, yes, only one thing is real in this world is nothing but that Krishna and Krishna's glories, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna. Because of everything is a manifestation of that potency. I am actually, after all this, Krishna's illusory energy. It's called Maya, or the external energy Maya. I'm after of all this. I'm after of all this. But what actually eventually I get only the pain and the distress at the end of the day. However, I try to get happiness from this world. I have billions of dollars. And if I go and try to buy some happiness, you'll not get it. We know that. I know many, many people are so rich, but they don't have any family because of he's after the money and no value for the family, nothing like that. So always in distress and goes there. And nowadays, people are marrying a robot. So they wanted to have this little happiness. They are paying this money so that marrying a robot. So they think that, okay, I can buy some happiness from this robot. People are more towards the, okay, I can get me a cat, get me a dog, get me some kinds of pet so that I get some kind of happiness. So this is the conscious, this is a material consciousness. But on the other hand, understanding that when we come out of this, our stula, our gross bodily concepts, our subtle bodily concepts trying to satisfy senses, mind, and intelligence, rather than then we come out of it, then we overcome this. We come to that the higher state of pure consciousness. This is called transcendental consciousness. That's pure. That's where the real bliss and the happiness and that immense Sandrananda, condensed bliss comes to that. And it says it is eternal and full of, and there we speak, there we see Krishna person to person, very directly talk to Krishna and engaging in his personal service to Krishna. So one has to come out of all this. So it gives so dear devotees. So these are the process that one can come out of it, where it starts from that our chanting of the holy name, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chedo Darpana Marjanam, it cleans our heart. Because of our heart is covered with impurities, We cannot see anything that what is our heart, who is sitting in our heart. Paramatma is sitting in our heart. We have our own self is there. We don't see it. So one can reach up to that point of self-realization, understanding ourself, realizing ourself. Then unless and until one who realize the self, then we cannot realize the Supreme, that Paramatma, that Supreme Lord. So all this starts where from our chanting, our devotional service. So it's very important that we chant very attentively. The first and the foremost, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur mentioned that all the other offenses starts from when we are inattentive chanting, when we chant inattentively. Why? Because of when we chant inattentively or namabhas, inattentively, what happens? Eventually, then we develop the stage for all the other things. So this is material. That means we are completely come down into our sensual and a mental plane, not on the spiritual plane. Pure chanting is on pure spiritual plane. Attentive chanting is on the spiritual plane. Attentive chanting is actually completely in association with Krishna. But the moment we bring down our mind from the spiritual plane to the material plane, that's where now all these material attachments should start to develop. Then we don't develop any taste. So we say that, okay, after 16 rounds, okay, now I'm done. So now I can do anything that I want. This was my vow. Somehow I chanted. So what happens? Eventually we fade away that faith in the holy name. And we just start to lose. Then one point of time, we don't even chant the holy name. Then we engage in so many other things, but we don't chant the holy name. We would be saying that, oh, why don't I can hear the past times of many things, and we mix up with everything. We hear this, we go here, we go there, we go there. We try to put ourselves. This is called mental speculation. This is another problem of our mind. We justify everything. Oh, this is right. This is right. This is right. This is our mind. When we justify everything with our mind, then mind drags away from holy name and spiritual consciousness, and then put us, oh, I'm getting more happiness here from this one. I go to this restaurant, let me go here. Let me go to this movie. Let me go to this park. Let me go to this picnic. Let me go to this vacation spot on Las Vegas. Wherever it is, people generally look for cruise. Okay, let me go and enjoy. And at the same time, okay, I'm chanting, chanting, chanting. That's an offense. So even though understanding so many instructions on this chanting, and even after material attachment, that's also an offense. So we should develop their devotees, because of we will not get these kinds of life. Human life is very rare, very, very rare, the human form of life. In this life only that we can have this science of self-realization can come to our spiritual plane, and always remember Krishna, and always we can conscious of Krishna in this human form of life. That's why it's called the very rare, very rare. That's Sri Krishna, Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschitadas Bahunam Janmanam Mande Gyanavan Mam Prapatya. So who is the Gyanavan? Who is that knowledgeable person? So he understands. Now he is not any more ignorant person. Who is ignorant person? Who is so much attached to this material world is called number one fool, or he is an ignorant person. But one who is attached to Krishna, devotional services, he is the most intelligent person. Sumedasa, right? Yajne Sankirtane Prade Praye Yajantihi Sumadesa. I say that, right? In the 11th canto, 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami says to Parishit Maharaj, says that Kali Doshe Nidan Rajan. Oh Rajan, the Kali Kala is full of fault. Kalir Doshe Nidan Rajan, but Ashti Eko Hi Mahan Gunaha. There is one good quality. Kirtana Dasya Krishnasya Mukta Sangam Parambrujit. One can liberate oneself, Mukta Sangam, from this material attachment. One can liberate himself from this, and Paramvrajit, one can attain Krishna by this holy name. So the devotee is very important that this is not an ordinary. So Golokera, it's descended from the holy name, the Golokatha. Who brought this down to this material plane? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought this holy name from the spiritual abode and brought down to this material plane so that everybody who is connects with this holy name can attain Krishna. Attain that one can go back to. It's very simple process. As it says there, right? Krishna, it says that, yeah, Yuga Dharma, right? It's called Yuga Dharma. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Surupagam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktigam. This Bhakta Shakti, one can attain this Bhakta Shakti, the potency, the Bhakta Shakti one can attain by chanting of the holy name. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as in the form of a devotee in order to establish this holy name. So it's very important that we take this holy name very sincerely and seriously. So one should avoid this inattentive chanting that leads to all the other offenses. So then the next one is to blaspheme the devotee, the foremost offenses. So blasphemy the devotees who have dedicated their love. Don't never ever try to do that, because Krishna never pardons such devotees. Krishna is very dear to his devotees. And here we are having this ego and try to blaspheme left and right, or he is like that, he is like that, we never know the activities of a devotee. We never know who is that devotee. And maybe he is a pure devotee, he is a whatever devotee, but we don't know. But we are putting ourselves blaspheming such because we are feeling that we are so greater than such people, such devotees. So then I can say anything I want. So in that case, what happens? We offense against such devotees. So even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, even one who chants the holy name should consider he is a devotee. Never ever try to blaspheme the devotees. Second and third thing is actually never ever disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Never ever disobey the orders of the spiritual master. It's very important. Why? Because a spiritual master is considered as our father. He is a representative of the Supreme Lord. Anything that we disrespect or not obey and follow the instructions of the spiritual master, that's an offense against not only the spiritual master, but also the offense against the Supreme Lord. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one gets the Guru. See that? By the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Now one who gets the Guru, and then he started to offending against the Guru, not following the instructions of Guru, then he is also this called the Guru Ninna, or what is called one who creates that offense against the Guru, one who offending Guru. That means it's very, very severe. Never do that. One who follows the instructions of Guru instructed, we have to completely follow the instructions of Guru. So it's very important that primarily one who follows this attentive chanting, free ourselves from all this gossiping, worldly talking, and this person, okay, Pakistan is matching cricket and India is this one, and this person, politician said this politician, this country said this country attack another country attack another country. Never ever indulge into this material, because of Krishna has a plan for everything. When we have complete understanding and complete faith in Krishna, we should not indulge in all this we are taking. I would give an example. One day, the one in the assembly of Yudhishthira Maharaj, one person came. It was a court, and he wanted some justice. Krishna was there. So he wanted some justice from Yudhishthira Maharaj. So there was some little discussion, and Yudhishthira Maharaj said to this person came to the court that Yudhishthira Maharaj said, I would give this result of this discussion, I will give you that verdict tomorrow. You come tomorrow. So Krishna was there. Krishna said, Oh Yudhishthira, oh Dharmaputra, how can you say that you are a Dharmaputra? You always talk right. You always do things right. You never do any adharma. But it felt like that this is adharma because of you send that person. He came to you for some justice, and you send him back. And now you are saying that you come tomorrow. And then Krishna said, are you sure about that? Tomorrow you will be there tomorrow, that to give that justice to that person? How can you justify that if you are not there tomorrow? How can you justify that act to that person if he comes tomorrow? Krishna said, we cannot even guarantee, we cannot even promise, we cannot say anything that, yeah, tomorrow will be there for me. No guarantee. Then how can we confidently and very convincingly say that you come tomorrow? It's not possible. So it's very, very important that, dear devotees, that we are very conscious of all this. So Shubhasya Shikram. It's very important that we have this, such a faith in Krishna's word, and always, stay away from all this gossiping and unwanted talk and all those things, and just focus on Krishna. Very much focus on Krishna. Connect ourselves all the time with Krishna. As it says that, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Then we can become steady, very much steady in Krishna consciousness. So always remember this all the, again, the offenses, and this leads to all the other offenses. When we are offending against our guru, then we will be, Nama Prabhu first will also disappears. Our knowledge, our good, credit, pious credits we created, all will diminish, all will go away. So that's why then we started to blaspheme, then wanted to see any no value for the scriptures. Then we will see that, all the demigods like that, they are more powerful, they are the right thing, so I can enjoy. So all will lead to that in, this inattentive chanting. And, Guru Avagya, that's what is I was reading. Guru Avagya means that offending gurus and then offending devotees. So, dear devotees, we are actually the mercy of devotees and Krishna. Always remember this. Unless and until we have the mercy of Krishna and the devotees, we cannot move an inch in this Krishna consciousness. It's very, very important. We should always remember this. So always try to keep up this the offenses against the holy name, and primarily not indeed chanting and the blaspheming the devotees, and then the disobeying the spiritual master and obeying the devotees. When there is a senior devotees who's looking for, Pada Pradakshina Guru or Chaitya Guru or Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru, all comes under the category of Guru or Guru, lineage of it, because of they develop some trust and, looking for some instructions. So always respect and follow the instructions of devotees and the Guru, and this is our shelter. This way, even though we have some offenses, then by the mercy of Guru and the devotees, and they are so merciful, even, that's why devotees are so merciful that, Lord himself, and we know that the story of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu was so merciful, even Nityananda Prabhu got hurt by Jagai and Madai. The earthen pot, Madai through the earthen pot, that the earthen pot is very, like a stone, hit on the forehead of Nityananda Prabhu and bleeding like anything. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on the scene and about to kill, this Jagai and Madai. Nityananda Prabhu caught hold of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, you are here not to kill, but to save all the living entities in this world. Seeing the Nityananda Prabhu's plea, begging for mercy for the Jagai and Madai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is even melted. Even this, very sinful personality like Jagai and Madai, they become completely melted. They fall at the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, Rahima, please forgive us. Please save us, please save us, please save us. Completely transformed by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So devotees are very, very important. Never ever try to do anything blasphemy or anything against making a plot, lobbying, politics, and so many things happening. This is because we are in the material world. Not valuing the devotees, not respecting the devotees, always thinking, negative about the devotees and so many things. So avoid all these things and follow the instructions of the devotees and Guru, their devotees. We can make a very wonderful progress in our spiritual path. Then we can attain, we can come to that, our spiritual plane, as I mentioned that, come to the stage of Nishta. So this is the processes. What we get the prayojana, Krishna Prema, Krishna Bhakti. Bhakti means loving devotion. One can attain that, then we can situate in that like how a ghee coming out from a milk, we can situate there in the spiritual plane all the time, then what is the results of it? He is unlimited, infinite bliss that he always relishing, dear devotees. He does not need anything else, but just this by seeing Krishna and this bliss that which develops and understanding and that that very sacred, very sincere and very purity, and such devotees are very pure. When their association, when their darshan itself is very purifying, such devotees. So we all can reach to that stage of sacredness, purity. So that's very important when we very carefully, follow the Krishna consciousness carefully, and one should always, and its best way, Harinama iva kevalam kalau nasteva nasteva nasteva. In this age of Kali, this Harinama is the only way. Chanting of the holy name is the only way that we can come to our original Krishna consciousness, our spiritual identity, our spiritual plane, spiritual realization. And then only we can see everything makes beautiful, wonderful. So thank you so much. With this note, I would end here. It's already 8 o'clock. Humbly request and see that if there is anything that, any discussions or anything that would like to add, any comments or realizations or any questions you would like to add, any way that we can all, benefit each other. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Bol, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Any reflections, any realizations, any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Question, not questions, but there is something special I wanted to share. Something like yesterday while coming back from temple, and we were close to actually your house.
Okay.
And what we saw, a huge, not sure, like meteor, big meteor or something, and very fast moving, super fast. It was green colored. So is there any meaning of that? Seeing that?
You mean you saw a meteor in the sky?
Yes.
I mean, it's a quite natural thing, right? Quite naturally happens in this world that sometimes there are meteors. All the time there are meteors there, right? So
I was wondering any spiritual meaning connected to this.
I mean, not specifically. Anything that which is meteors comes and see. And there is no specific. In olden days, it says that we should not see meteors.
We should not, right?
Yes.
And it was scary because it was big. And now we don't know it's a meteor or some space debris, so many satellites, right? Getting there. Yes.
Yeah, don't put much mind on these things. When we are in Krishna consciousness, right? These are all these petty, small things. We should not put our mind in. Focus on Krishna, right? Krishna gives us directions, not the meteors, not anything else. But Krishna gives us wonderful directions in our life. All we need to do is, we should come out from our, this self kind of consciousness that, or what would happen to me, or this is inauspiciousness, or this and that, those. We should take shelter of Krishna and the holy name. That's called Sharanagati. That Krishna is the maintainer. Krishna is the protector. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjita. And whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness, we should do it. Whatever is not favorable for Krishna consciousness, we should avoid it. And then Krishna, Gopse Rakshanam. That means he is the only maintainer, only protector in this world. He only can protect us. Nobody else can protect us in this world. If Krishna wanted to kill somebody, nobody can even stop that. Krishna wanted to save somebody, nobody can even oppose that. This is what it is. So we should take an exclusive devotion, exclusive shelter. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, last verse, 65th verse. That is what is called? Yes, Sarvadharman Paritejya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Sarvadharman. No worries about any of these things. Just focus on me. Just surrender unto me. That's called really Sharanagati understanding. Krishna is our maintainer. Krishna is the protector. In all circumstances, he will maintain and protect us, and always do what is favorable for Krishna, and what is unfavorable, avoid it, what is unfavorable for Krishna. When we have this one, then we can completely in the shelter and in the Devi, as Krishna says that Mahatma Namstu Mam Bharata, Devim Prakriti Masada, they are under my protection, under my divine nature. So we all can enter into that Krishna's divine nature. So when we, understand all this and completely purify ourselves from all these impurities.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Any other discussions they would like to add? Any reflections? Any other realizations? No comments? You see, Mr. Bala is a new devotee. I'm just seeing the name first time. Are you there? Okay, so very nice, wonderful. Thank you so much. And so we'll not have a class tomorrow. We request everybody to join temple. We have a lot of services tomorrow. And for inviting, that we have tents are there, and we are inviting so many, the ball, the electricians, and they put so beautifully. Then we need to put some tents out there and, remove everything so nicely. And we need to put the signs for the parking loads and so many other things, right? So we should prepare for it. And tomorrow we are going to decorate the temple hall and so many other things, right? So please join tomorrow evening. So I'll be also send out a note so that devotees can join tomorrow. And then the most important and very precious or auspicious day throughout our life is that the Janmashtami. I'm sure that many of you are taking days off. How many of you are taking off on Janmashtami?
Prabhuji, I'm taking on next day or the following day also.
Okay, very good. And Thursday is Srila Prabhupada's appearance. This is the most important in our life. Krishna's appearance day and fasting till midnight. Okay?
Yeah.
Try to take fasting till midnight. And when Krishna appears, and then that's a time till we fast and we engage in the devotion, especially starting from tomorrow itself. Tomorrow evening, we can be all in the temple and do the service for Krishna. Mudija margin and cleaning up everything nicely so that Krishna's appearance to, basically, this is an abode of Krishna. Krishna is very dear to his devotees. When Krishna comes, why Krishna coming? To give, to satisfy, to fulfill the desires of devotees, to give pleasure to his devotees. So when devotees welcome Krishna in such a way that my Lord is coming, my Lord appearing, so we will not minimize it. We'll put our whole heart. Whatever we have, we'll put it to receive the Krishna. This is devotion. This is the pure devotion. This comes from the pure heart, right? So when you do that, so then Krishna is so pleased. So when Krishna is pleased, their devotees, that's all we need. Krishna's glance, just a look, just a glance upon the devotees. Oh yeah, when Srimati Radharani says, oh, this devotee is doing so nicely, wonderfully, Krishna looks at such devotees. So who sees first this service? Srimati Radharani. Any service which we do, who sees first? Srimati Radharani, because of she is Vrindavaneshwari. She is the queen of Vrindavan. She is the queen of all the service. She is arranging. Everybody else is assisting Srimati Radharani in spiritual realm. Everybody else is assisting. There are gopis, primary gopis, Ashta gopis, close associates, many other gopis, 108, many other gopis, like millions of other gopis. Then there are manjaris, then those who are assisting manjaris. They're all under the Vrindavan Ishwari Srimati Radharani. Even if one who engages, we know that even when we cook the bhoga in the kitchen, who is really cooking there? Is Srimati Radharani is cooking. That's why it's known as Radharani's kitchen. Nobody else is cooking. So you see that one's great fortune that one who is entering in serving Srimati Radharani, in cooking for Krishna. So always remember all this. Always remember Srimati Radharani is cooking. When we have this consciousness, all our cooking will be so nice. And we should not have to taste for, salt or anything like sweet. Everything will be pakka, because when we have that consciousness, everything will be so wonderful and powerful. Who is cooking? Srimati Radharani cooking. So everything will be so tasty, and so this prasadam is so different from any other, this mundane food. So Radharani sees all this first. Radharani tells Krishna, "Oh Lord, see this devotee is so nice, serving nicely, sincerely, without any, material or tinge of motivation, self-motive, what is called ego or self-respect. This devotee is serving so nicely." So this is the way, this is the process. So everybody is trying to serve the devotees and the devotees of Krishna. So that's what is our mood. Dasa dasanu das. Some devotees say some service, please do so. Krishna is pleased such devotees more than one who is directly serving Krishna. So always take up the service of serving Krishna all the time. Have this very humble, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Trina Tapisuni Chena Tarori Vasarshva. Humble than a blade of grass, taller than a tree. So always have to have. Yes, it's not a smooth road that we are living in this material world. So many impediments comes, but when we have our sincere, our strong faith and conviction, everything else is less significant. When we compare that, when we are with Krishna, when we engage in the loving service of Krishna, everything else is less significant. We should have that consciousness in our heart all the time. So always try to serve devotees and, Krishna. That's why Krishna is so. Please join tomorrow, and also day after tomorrow. There are so many other wonderful services. And on Janmashtami day, and also remember parking is at the school, and we need to also have your directing the traffic in one-way traffic, and so many things. Make sure that you all have some kind of services tomorrow. You are all wonderful devotees. Always give service, not to take service. This is our mood, humble mode. Give service to everyone, not to take much service from others. This is also purity. The understanding of what is purity, right? Okay.
Prabhuji, the fasting means you don't eat fruits, nothing.
Nothing. I mean, if you can. I mean, we don't recommend to everyone. Those who are able to fast, this is called complete fasting even from water, right? Complete fasting till midnight. And then we break the fast. Then also on Thursdays, Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, also fasting till noon. So we break fast in the midnight. Then we again continue the fasting for Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. That we fast till noon after the Prabhupada appearance day celebration. We offer everything to Srila Prabhupada. That's the time Srila Prabhupada, usually Guru Tattva, we fast till noon.
Okay.
Complete fasting, yeah. Anything else? Any other logistic questions? Yeah, there are a lot of garland making and so many other services, dear devotees, tomorrow. Decorations and so many wonderful services. Just please, put up. We'll be also sending out a note for everyone at what service they can help us. Okay. So thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining. So nice, so wonderful. And we will not, we'll send out about the Thursday evening class. Usually, probably we'll have glorification of Srila Prabhupada on that evening. So then we'll be only having on the Friday. Then this Friday, we will conclude this. And then after next week, we are going to start the nectar of instruction. So everybody can join. It's so wonderful to go through this acharyas, the text and the instructions of acharyas. This is called nectar of instruction. So humbly requesting everybody, please, this is our good fortune that we have this opportunity. Thank you so much. Let's conclude. Vancha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki Viraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shastakam ki jai. Ananda Gaudi Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jai ki jai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sukhdev ki jai. Gauri Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare